All right, so we are on day 91. This will be the second recording because for some reason my phone it got so hot that the video stopped. So basically, guys, in this video we're going to talk about the semen retention war that's going on right now. If we're in, although we're kind of in the aftermath of that, but I wanted to give my thoughts on that, and then kind of the whole journey up to 90 days, like what I'm thinking, what's the plan going forward, and just overall thoughts and awareness. So first, let's jump into the Rin thing, right? And honestly, guys, like at the end of the day, like, you can have your thoughts or interpretation, but it really shouldn't affect you that much, right? Because everyone's got their truths, everyone's got the things they're doing. You have to keep doing what you're doing, like keep working on your path. But in my interpretation, from what I understand, because remember, you have to have the awareness because of course some of us understand what we're saying, but some of you guys don't. But the way he explained it, and there'll be a good amount of anime references, but you remember in Naruto when he was learning sage mode, he talked about like the toad oil, right? So basically the toad oil is like it's a way to get into sage mode, right? But it's sage mode that's what gives you the powers. So essentially, guys, it's not retention that's giving you the powers, right? It's more so like a permission slip. That's the term we've been kind of using, a permission slip to kind of use, the law of attraction, like subconsciously. Because there's like a bunch of but I understand what he was saying now. It's like the law of attraction, that's basically one of the most important laws because that stems from your thoughts and that's how you manifest. SR, it can't be greater than that because it's like a gateway. It's like the total. If you could argue the law of assumptions, basically sage mode or even let's say six paths, right? But SR, if that's just total, it can't be stronger than the actual sage mode itself or powers even greater than that. So that's what he was kind of saying, guys. And remember, at the end of the day, it's like everyone should retain, right? Because at the end of the day, it's really difficult, right? And for me, that's like why I continue to do it because this shit's hard. It gets lonely, but on the other side of that discomfort and all those things, you get closer to God. You gain serene confidence, powers, and all these things, you gain this awareness, you gain these thoughts, you get the good luck, all the benefits, and all that stuff, right? Because that's what subconsciously, that's what we're manifesting. So those things will occur because for me, guys, it's like, especially now, it's like the stuff I do in the gym, even fasting. In fact, I can fast for multiple days and it wasn't even difficult. It's just a lot of like, you start to recognize a lot of self-limiting beliefs that you have, they start to go away as you get more and more aligned. And honest, even for me too, because when I first started, I definitely thought like, oh, it's just retention. It's just the power of holding in my sack. But then you recognize, oh, it's the law of attraction. Like you're subconsciously like doing that, from retention. Because I feel like depending on what day you're on, because time is an illusion. But for anyone that's like you're uncertain or whatever, or even if you want to relapse, it's like make sure it's not the pixels, make sure it's someone that you like actually like fuck with or like genuinely love. I'd argue even want to marry because I think the issue is honestly it's not really have a porn addiction or this or that. It's more so really like it's just low quality woman, and it's like once you if you keep retaining your vibration gets really high, you won't want to be around those people. So you will have opportunities to relapse around low vibrational people. And this is another thing, guys. Like my brother, like he relapsed, and the decisions he made after definitely not the brightest. Fortunately, it wasn't anything crazy, but nothing bad happened to him. Like he didn't get hit by a car or anything. We definitely did some dumb things. So and I'll agree with friend. It's like you're not gonna die if you relapse, but because you're using retention like total, when you get kicked out of sage mode, right? Like imagine you're fighting Madara, right? Madara is the equivalent of fucking whatever your biggest urge is or whatever, or that girl that you shouldn't see but you keep seeing. If you get kicked out of sage mode, you're cooked. You're gonna get like one tap. You're not gonna be able to defend yourself. And that's why I'm like, it's not worth relapsing until your vibration is so high where when you're not retaining, you don't get kicked out of sage mode because just think of retention as like it's sage mode. Like it heightens, everything. Like it's an amplifier for alignment. But eventually, even think of Dragon Ball. It's like eventually you'll go from Super Saiyan to fucking Super Saiyan Blue to Ultra Instinct, but you don't want to get kicked out of like, Super Saiyan Blue. So that's why for me personally, until my vibration gets a lot higher, because as I understand it now, the law of attraction, for you to do it at least consciously, like you have to have a very, very high vibration. Because and this is why like guys, you have to take, even from me, like question everything, but really if you study like the other like Hinduism, like all that stuff, Christianity, Bible, whatever, everyone's kind of pointing to that universal truth that you're not separate from God. But my biggest takeaway from Rin was more so that everyone thinks, right? Like let's say you have a belief, or wait, no, how do I explain this? Like essentially, here's how I'll explain it for anyone that's like into like the diet and wellness stuff. Like there's a bunch of diets, right? But it's not the diet that makes it work. It's your belief actually in the diet that makes it work. And then that manifests in our world as the science or whatever. Oh, fruit is good, meat is good, vegetables have this. That's why there's so much clicked and views with health. But it's more so, it's the belief that actually manifests, because I always thought it was the other way around. But no, it's like your belief, you think it's healthy, then that manifests as whatever benefits. It's even the gym too. What do you do? High volume, low volume, medium volume. That's not that actually what matters. What matters is the actual belief that you think it works. And that just kind of opened my mind in ways I was like, wow, like there's still a lot of levels to this. And that's why anyone that questions it, like don't relapse, but keep climbing, like anyone that's seen Tower of God, right? One like the first, it's like what the first chapter, the first episode, whatever it is that you desire, bitches, whatever, money, fame, wealth, knowledge, you gotta keep climbing, and everything at the top of the tower, like you'll get all the answers you want. Now maybe there is a top for retention, but maybe it's 200 days. I mean, this is different for everyone, but I would say just if you have questions, doubts, uncertainties, just keep climbing the tower, you keep climbing. Because for me, there's still a lot of questions. And as I continue to retain more and more, it's like I learn more and more about myself. Like I'll say it makes you like a lot more authentic, I would say. And I see that in Rin too. Because I honestly, guys, I don't watch much retention content. I feel like I don't really need to. Because for me, it's like it's a lifestyle. I just count the days so we can kind of track like my like, oh, he was saying this at day 90, day 200, he's saying this. That's the only reason I track now. But for me, it's like a lifestyle. Because even me, I've learned recently, like guys, remember you can have without orgasm, you can have you can bang without, releasing. And in the ancient yogi texts, like they talk about that. I forgot the name of it, but like there's a way for you to have without, orgasm, and you retain, it's actually even more beneficial, so I feel like that's, now everyone's a little different, but if you are going to release, at least let it be with someone you love. Don't let it be a fucking thought or slow vibrational being, like little things like that. Obviously definitely don't let it be the pixels, but as long as you have that base foundation, it's like you'll be okay. Because, and another thing too, it's like it's not Rin saying like, oh, like remember the benefits, they don't come from attention, right? They come from other spiritual laws and like vibration basically. But you use SR as like the permission slip, you use it as the gateway or the amplifier of your vibration. And the reason I understand this so intuitively now is because fasting, right? This is, if total puts you in this sage mode, think of fasting as a way to get like a six paths chakra. It's like an amplifier for that. Because when I tell you guys, like the shit I was doing at work and at the gym, just being in like a over 24-hour fast, it's like it gets you a lot. It just really amplifies your vibration, like it's crazy. Because for me, it's like, as I meditate more and more and learn more and more about, God and union with the divine, it's like God is where discomfort is, but God is stillness, be still and know that I'm God. It makes a lot of sense, right? Because, and the way I know that is the case is because recently, guys, I had it was one day I have like a mentor who, is also very spiritual, and I've learned a lot from. But after one of our like sessions where we kind of like talk and stuff, I had this desire to meditate, but it must have been briefly like, I don't know, divine timing, I don't know, but there was no like, my ego didn't have time to be like, oh, maybe another time, oh, you're tired or whatever. And I meditated and I astral projected like twice, but very briefly. But it was like my body was still, but it felt like I was shaking. It was like, the soul was trying to, like ask to project out. But that was I had that feeling twice throughout that session. And that's why I'm like, it's only 90 days. And every day, you vibrate higher and higher and higher. But it's like, it should excite you, honestly, because it's like, there's so much things that's going to happen. It's like, I don't want to be low vibrational. I don't want to go back to that old version of myself. I don't want to do it. And see, for me, that's why I won't relapse, because I recognize how important it is to maintain a high vibration. And I guess you'll know, like talking about Rin and sites, it'll probably be okay if you relapse, but maybe he's not. But it's not something I want to risk, because at the end of the day, it's like my standards are so high. So if I just wouldn't want to do it, And it's not about, it's just like, it's me. It's like, I want to keep up this discipline. I want to keep, doing this really difficult thing, because I know on the other side of this is like manifestations and things I can't even comprehend probably currently. So that's why I encourage everyone, keep climbing, keep retaining day after day after day, because it's gonna make you really authentic, guys. Because for me, there was a lot of things like just even working out, or just like the ego. Like you'll really learn if you're about something, or you genuinely like someone or doing a certain action. If you keep increasing your vibration, you keep developing this awareness, you keep retaining, because you can't lie to yourself, how you used to, because there's nothing, you can't run to anything, So it's like you're forced to kind of deal with those parts of yourself. And even there are parts of myself, even, and this is something that's probably a lot of people aren't gonna understand, but it's like, guys, like the stuff in the Bible where Jesus could heal the sick, turn water into wine, all that stuff is possible per the law of attraction. It's just, remember, it has to be probable. You have to think, you can do it. But if you vibrate high enough, you could do the same things and greater, John 14:12. Whoever believes in me will do the same things I have and greater. And that's the thing about retention, I would say, it really, it turns you back into a kid. Because all the stuff you see in anime, like, you can do that too. You just got to vibrate, high enough. That's why it's like, it's very important, guys. You lift weights, you meditate, and that you fast. Because all these, I can't think of, these are the three great, like, ways to increase your vibration, honestly. There's other ways, of course, but these three definitely, especially for men, it's like definitely work out,